food markets only.
Meet Susie Smart, she is so bright. On her blackboard you can write. She has a desk, she has a seat. What's your name, my darling sweet?
My name is Susie Smart.
She can talk!
She can talk, but can she add?
2 plus 2 is 4. Cat, C-A-T.
You can spell!
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
You recite!
Press the button, she says a dozen things, complete with desk, blackboard, and seat. Susie Smart, sold at food markets only.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Penny, Penny, Penny.
Good morning, cats and kittens, pups and pooches. Welcome to early morning meeting of the Deadbeat Club. And it's 8 a.m., but I've been up for a while, so, but it's still early morning to me. Today's multitasking project is what is in these containers so I know whether to pack them, trash them, whatever. And the other part is mailing out or doing the addresses and everything on the remaining giveaways now that I have some envelopes to put them in. I'm telling you, I don't know what to think about Walmart, though. They're pretty weird. One day they're out of envelopes, so I had to mail order those and wait 2-3 days. Now, the other day, I was in there and I was going to buy a package of 10 Bankers boxes, and they had 2 of the packages left. But truthfully, I could not get them in the little Amiga scooter that I was riding around the store on. And I couldn't seem to get a hold of anybody that would go and get me a cart. So I thought, well, I'll just order them and have them deliver them to my house, which I can see Walmart from my house. But when I went to order them, they said they were out of stock. And so I tried again yesterday. Well, I tried the day before, and then I tried again yesterday. And they're still out of stock, so I was going to order them online and have them delivered from wherever Walmart.com delivers from when they don't have the stuff in your local store. And they're out of stock there too, so since I didn't buy them when they had them, now I can't get them. So I've been making do with things. As crazy as this sounds, I find a lot of, I use recycled packages when I mail, but sometimes I have envelopes I just can't reuse, and I'm getting down to the point where I'm actually having to strip bubble wrap out of the insides of envelopes before I throw them away, so that I can use those pieces of bubble wrap to wrap smaller items in or pad around things. It's really something. It's hard. This is really hard for me. Having a lot of problems trying to get things packed and trying to get things organized with the U-Haul people. They're starting to tick me off a tad. Why this is in a... I'm not sure. The other one that I found, I'm sure what it is. So I guess I'll use this tray for keepers. That is wheat pennies. This is a round box that I thought was just 82s, but it's not. I saw a wheat penny sticking right up out of the top of it, so now I don't know what it is. It's just assorted pennies. I have a container for 1960s pennies, and I think that's what this was intended to be, but then it just got things picked up and thrown in it. Nice looking 65 there. So I'm very speedily going through these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a container, and then I'm going to stop and do a couple mailing labels. As like I said, most of the time when there's a container, they're all the same thing, but this is not. This started out as 60s and then got a bunch of other junk tossed in, which means I got to go through them all. There's a S. I keep all the S's. And there's nobody in here anyway. I know where everybody is. Nobody loves you when you're down and out. Nobody loves you when you can't give them a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, that's that weird one that we thought might be an S over D or a D over S. I'll keep that one. See, just all kinds of weird things got put in here. I don't need. I need money. Spending money, not collecting money right now. Things are becoming much more expensive than anticipated. And it's mostly because of U-Haul. They're really putting it to me. I mean, like several $100s worth of putting it through to me. And then we have an issue with the GoFundMe. There's money in there, but there's no link for me to go in that I can find. Hugh and I have tried to, normally the money transfers like the first week of the month over to the special account. I'm not having any problem getting in it. I'm having a problem getting in. There's money sitting in the GoFundMe that I need to transfer out, and I looked at my bank account and it shows nothing has transferred from there for a while, and I need to get that money before the trip. And they have absolutely, I'm gonna warn you, if you use GoFundMe, like my friend Q set this GoFundMe up for me and it was working fine, but now I don't know what has happened, but they do not have any customer service phone number. They have no customer service email. They have a bot that understands nothing. And so I can't get a hold of somebody to try to get those funds released. Well, there's a Wheatie. See, I told you there's other stuff in here, so I got to go through them all. There's another Wheatie. I'm not even going to look. Just throw it in the Wheatie box. Well, there's an 83. I'm going to temporarily put them back in the wild, simply because I need actually every penny. Thank you, U-Haul. Thank you, GoFundMe. That's really something. Can't get there from here. I'm so close to Michigan that I'm almost, yeah, well, y'all know. I don't need to ramble on about that. Alright. So that's one empty container. Which I'm gonna put Wheaties in. Because I'm sure I will find more of those lying around. Alright, let's set up the scale so I can weigh the next batch. Let's see what this is. I have no clue. I think I'm just gonna take that box for what it says it is, because I'm pretty sure it's actually accurate. Make that a miscellaneous pennies. Mostly there's a bag of 82s in there. I don't know. I better check and see what that is. No, that's 83s. All right. See what this is. Copper 82s. And a big tray full of who the heck knows. Oh, fun. $83. Okay. I think this is 82s. Okay. Find a container for those. That looks like a good place. Oh, shit. The hell is calling me? Hang on, people. Huh. I forgot I was muted. I'm sitting here talking to myself. No wonder the people that came in left. Oh, that explains a lot. Well, I was going to put that under there, but too much glare. I will stick that there for now. Oh. Jeez. Hang on. Oh, I love it when I talk to myself. Yeah, I'm okay. How you doing, Deej? I'm actually trying to do three things at once, and it's not working very well. I'm trying to clear all these things off my little desk and broadcast area so that we can get this dilapidated desk out of here. And then I'm trying to send out anything that needs to be mailed so it doesn't get packed by mistake. But yeah, I'm okay. Just getting my breakfast and setting up my little scale so I got a few things left to mail out from Christmas. And oh, I had the phone rang and I had put it on mute, put the stream on mute, and I forgot to unmute myself. I just let the phone, I didn't recognize the number. So I let it go to voicemail. Which I think is full, but I don't know anybody in Idaho, so that I know of. So I'll, and that's weird. It doesn't even show up on my recent call list. So that's weird. Oh well. They didn't need to talk to me that bad then. But yeah, I'm okay. I've got stuff everywhere. Little containers with coins and tokens and, well, you know the drill. And yeah, that is really weird. Yeah, I'm sure it's somebody trying to sell me a warranty on my car or something. Or it could have been I had some things delivered from Walmart because the weather is just so awful. I didn't want to go out. And a lot of times the Walmart delivery people will use numbers that are not their own. And that call came in right after the Walmart guy knocked on the door. So we have an interesting problem here with deliveries. There's another apartment complex right next to us owned by the same people, so they look very similar, and they have a similar numbering system for the apartments, except that theirs all have a letter. Like you might be 38C, and they open to the outside. So the Walmart people will just go and leave the groceries outside the door. Well, ours is different. Ours don't have any letters, and you have to come in the building, Well, they, for some reason, GPS sends them to the wrong complex, and they end up leaving our groceries over there. So if I get a different driver, they'll usually end up calling, because the guy that lives over there he even has a little note on the door that says you're at the wrong, if you're delivering groceries for this person whose initials are, he doesn't have my name there or anything. He'll just tell him, you're at the wrong building, go next door. And he's actually got a note. And I have a thing in my Walmart special instructions telling them, if you're putting groceries outside, you're at the wrong complex. So anyway, I'm getting ready to, I keep finding these containers with like coins, not a whole lot of coins, maybe 15, 20 coins in it. And I'm like, okay, what is this? And it'll be like, oh, this is chewed up coins from detecting, or this is Wheaties, or these are ones that I just picked up off the floor. Hi, Beep. Hi, Uncle Beep. So, yeah, as soon as it gets a little later here, I got to call the local U-Haul. They don't open till 10. And then I got to call. There's a guy that works for U-Haul, that does ADA stuff, Americans with Disabilities Act. And he was supposed to call over to our local place and make sure that young man understands that under ADA, yes, he does have to hook the car hauler dolly to the truck and put the vehicle on it for a disabled person, and he cannot charge them for that, because first we got to go get the truck and load the truck, and then we got to go back and put the dolly on so we can put Sir Benji's van on it. And this kid was like, no, I don't do that, it's a liability issue. And I explained it to him, because I've researched this before, I've done it before. So he's a young man, and he's kind of a smart, but he thinks he's really cool because he's only 18 and he's running this business. Well, the main reason he's running the business is because his dad is sick. He doesn't own the business, but he wants all of his buddies to think he does. And he doesn't always want to follow the rules. Oh, that'd be cool. I hope you win. You did find some really cool stuff. Yeah, you did. You found some really cool stuff last year. And I only got to go out about 7 or 8 times, but I did find a couple of really cool things. Like, I found a 64 Kennedy $50 in pristine condition. in a playground that we have beat the snot out of. We have detected that same place so many times. And this was not a fresh drop because it was almost 8 inches down. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then I also found a couple of military medals, and one of them still had the back on it. So I'm thinking that one, um, some little kid probably had in his pocket that daddy gave him or grandpa gave him, and lost it out there. But then I also found a an Australian $2 coin in a top lot, but it was not. First of all, it's a brand new top lot, and it wasn't in the tot lot. It was on the outside of it, about 8 inches down. And at first, I thought it was a nickel. I couldn't really tell what it was, just because the lighting was bad, and my eyesight's not the best. But it didn't seem to be the right size. I didn't really know what it was, but I knew it was something pretty cool. So those were. Oh, and I found a really nice silver ring that has 3 cubic zirconians in it. But considering I only went out a total of maybe 6 or 7 times all year because I was sick, those were, I think, my best finds of the year. But yeah, you have found some of the coolest stuff, and I am wishing you luck because you deserve to win. There's one of your videos that I have had stuck in my head for the longest time, and I know it was 2, 3 years ago, and it's still stuck in my head because that was the day that I said, "Man, she's got more guts than I do." Yeah, everybody always told me, "Oh, you have no fear," and then I see this one video of yours, and I'm like, "Nope, there's the gal right there with the guts." And it was one where you went to a lake that I guess you had gone to when you were young, and you were out there in your bathing suit, metal detecting, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I wear leggings under my bathing suit because I wouldn't want anybody seeing me in a bathing suit." And you're just out there just detecting away and having such a great time. And I thought, there's the lady with the guts right there. I had somebody this morning in an email ask me, when you get to Michigan, who do you really want to go detecting with? But it was so cool, Deej, because you had no fear. All you wanted to do was find the treasure. And in that video, you were the treasure. But I had somebody this morning ask me when I got up there, who did I really want to go detecting with, and who did I want to meet. And first first name out was yours. I said, I lived 20 miles from her, and we never knew each other, and we have a lot of stuff in common. We have the family history stuff. We have the rock collecting thing. Uh, I'd have to lose a heck of a lot more than 20. uh, and I'm hoping once they start me on the treatments that the goal is to get me off the steroids. Well, as you know, steroids add weight. So hopefully, if they can get me off of the steroids, I can lose some more weight. I did lose about 45 pounds when I was in the hospital, but I put 20 of it back on and then kind of leveled out. But I really liked, I mean, that wasn't the way you're supposed to lose weight, but I felt so much better. Oh, cool. Thank Treasure Tom very much. I really would love to go there because you seem to find the best stuff out there. And even when you're not finding stuff, it's an interesting place. See, sometimes for me, it has nothing to do with whether I find anything or not, and a lot more to do with just getting out and seeing stuff. Oops. I saw Kevin come in and I didn't say hi. Hi, Kevin. How you doing this morning? Okay. Kevin, it says your package is in transit. I got a lot of them still in transit, but I think this weather is throwing. Yeah, that's throwing the trip off a little bit too. That's why I'm dealing back and forth with U-Haul, because originally I was supposed to have the truck for 6 days, and then for some reason they cut it back to 4. And I talked to the ADA guy. I said, look, I said, even if you could bring Dale Earnhardt back from the dead, he could not load this truck, drive it to Michigan, and unload it in this weather through the mountains, towing a vehicle in 4 days. It's not safe. So we're having to deal with a number of things. All right, let me see who's being delivered still. Del Brett, Mike the Greek, Patty Dirt Clod, New Marshall in town, Jenna Nesbitt, James. Oh, no, Jenna's got hers, James has got his, Art's got his, Kevin, yours is in transit. And I am doing the rest right now. Yes, speaking of my eBay store, it's going to go on vacation as of the 25th. You can still buy things, they just won't get shipped until after February 5th. And while that little lull is going on, everything has a 10% off coupon that you can use in there. And it's just a mix of all kinds of things. There's craft things, there's shot glasses, there's vintage collectible records, there's a little bit of jewelry, there's just a lot of stuff. And that's been part of the packing process, is that I have to keep the eBay store stuff in a separate stack from the my regular stuff. Okay, whose is this? Like I said, I'm doing multiple tasking here, so I'm switching back and forth from one screen to another. I had to get the scale out and get it set up. Yeah, see, a lot of the furniture that I have here, I'm not taking. I'm going to go thrift store shopping. No, actually, what I have, Deej, is as I am moving things around, I'm stirring up a lot of dust and cat fur, and my allergies are going nuts. It's not a cold, and I've been taking a test every other day for the beer virus. And when I go out the door, I have a mask on. I'm taking every precaution not to get sick. But no, this is my allergies. And I just got up a minute ago and went and got an allergy pill because, yeah, I have stirred up so much crap. Oh my gosh. I took some shelving apart yesterday, and on the, they were dusted nice on the top, but when I took them apart and flipped them over, there was probably an inch of cat fur and dust and M3 toys underneath these shelves. And I was not prepared for that. So now when I'm moving pieces of furniture, I'm putting on a mask because that was bad. And that's when it started, was when I did that. But yeah, I'm over here in the corner where things don't move very often. And yeah, it's just nasty. And it's causing me to have a bit of allergy issues. Oh, I gotta get this out. My laptop, which is like new. I hardly ever used it because the main thing I bought it for was to do my video on, and I can make videos and edit and everything on it fine, but when I tried to do live stream, it didn't have enough oomph for that, and after about 5 minutes the sound would go out. We don't have a Salvation Army, Deej. We don't have anybody that will pick up anything, unfortunately. We have one private thrift store and a Goodwill, but neither one of them will pick things up. So whatever I am not taking. Oh, this place is unbelievable, Deej. We have no taxis. We have no Uber, no Lyft, no anything like that. Our public transportation consists of one of those little short buses that runs from 8 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. It only runs twice on Saturday. Pretty much any specialist doctor that I need is a 2-hour trip each way. So you can, like I said, we don't have, well, I didn't intend to move here. That's the thing. I was on my way to Michigan, and I had picked up some things. My mom had some stuff stashed away in a storage that we didn't know about. So when I went down there before and emptied her house and did all that, um, I thought everything was done. Well, she had paid this thing for a couple of years in advance. So all of a sudden, we start getting notices saying, if you don't come get your stuff, we're going to sell the unit at auction. So at the time, I was living in Georgia. So I went down there, went through it all, and I got a bunch of stuff out that were like things that belonged to my great grandmother, like carnival glass and really old mixing bowls and old German Bibles and, just a lot of family heirlooms were in there. And I had wondered what happened to these things, So anyway, I gathered all the stuff up and put it in the truck with my things so I could come here, give some of it to my sister, some of it to my niece, and then proceed on to Michigan. Well, right after I got up here, I got here at the beginning of like Labor Day weekend, and I was going to stay long enough to get all these things distributed and then go on to Michigan. Well, then I slipped and fell on the handicap ramp at my sister's house and busted up 5 ribs, which they think is what ended up causing me to have that blood clot, that pulmonary embolism. But no, I did not intend to live here because I knew they didn't have. I lived here before. I knew they didn't have what I needed. I was just sort of passing through, spend a month out in the cabin, was going to metal detect on my sister's farm, which I didn't really get to do a whole lot of, but found my first war nickel out there. So when that happened, I called Michigan, and I thought what they were going to do, which seems logical, but isn't what happened, is let the person next to me on the housing list go ahead of me, and then I would be healed up and I would have the next spot. No, they put me all the way to the end of the list. Put over 200 people in front of me. Well, by the time everything started unfolding, the money that I had put away, everything costs double now what it did then. And I had to wait all this time. I got on a different housing list for the apartments that I'm going to now. I was originally supposed to go to Buena Vista or Buena Vista, however they pronounce it in Michigan. But that was the one that put me all the way to the end of the list. And I'm still on their list, and I'm still not moving up their list. But the one where I'm going is fine. But no, I never intended to move here because I knew they didn't have anything. As far as grocery stores, we have, of course, Walmart. We have a thing called Food City. Then we have a little one called Grants and an even smaller one called Horton's, which is really just a meat market with a few groceries. And that's pretty much it for this whole big area. Oh, I forgot the Mennonite dented can store that's about 15 miles outside of town. But we have one place to buy shoes other than Walmart. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah, I am not used to being this isolated. Even when I lived in rural Georgia, I was not this isolated. And the thing is, this is at what they call an independent city. It doesn't belong to either one of the counties that surround it. So they don't get a lot of the federal funding there. And it's just, and the sad part is the people that live here think this is normal. They think this is how everybody lives. And I'm like, oh my God, you people, need to learn how to stand up for yourself. And because it's an independent city and it's run by a handful of rich people, they really take advantage of some of their population, particularly the older and less educated. Most of the people that live in my building maybe went through 6th grade or so, and things just get pulled on them that's terrible. It really is not a good place to live. I would never have moved back here. I lived here in my motorhome for a while back in 2014, and I knew right then I lasted 2 months, and I said, I gotta get out of here. This place is awful. So, yeah, I never intended to live here. The only reason I'm here is because I was being nice uh, and sharing some family heirlooms. And once I got really sick, then uh, I had no way of escaping. It just wasn't good. But I never thought in a million years they would put me all the way to the end of the housing list and make me start over. But that is what happened. So, but yeah, I would. Hi, William. Yeah, I would never recommend moving here. It's a wonderful place to visit if you like the little towns where downtown is nothing but consignment stores and secondhand shops and touristy sort of things. But to live here, they have a severe housing crisis, a lot of homeless people, and I cannot imagine being homeless. No, I am not leaving the 25th. Sir Benji is leaving Michigan on the 25th. And hang on, let me see who this is. Okay, I'm not sure who this is. Let me put you guys on mute for a second. Oh my God, I hate salespeople. But see, if it's a Virginia number right now, I have to answer it. Anyway, back to William's question. No, Sir Benji is leaving, from what I understand, on the 25th from Michigan. He has to go down to South Carolina and Georgia to pick up some things for his eBay business. Then he is coming here. He is supposed to be getting here around the 28th. And then the loading of the truck occurs. And then we are going to put his van on a tow trolley, and he's going to drive the truck. So really, realistically, we will be leaving Virginia on the 30th. But he's leaving on the 25th, and he's been mentioning that on his show. So I think that's how that got out there, that I was leaving on the 25th. I am putting my eBay store on hold as of the 25th. But no, we won't be leaving until probably the 30th. Oh, that postage went up. Well, gotta pay it. Oops. I guess it would help if I turned the printer on so it can actually make a label. So anyway, that's... Now, I have not talked to him, so... Yeah, it's coming too fast, and I'm having... I just got people that aren't keeping their word on things. I had a guy that was supposed to come and take my car, because I'm not bringing it with me. It's wore out, and so anyway, trying to get some people to come help me offload the stuff from the storage. And this one lady, I posted on our local thing what I could pay, because I don't have any big furniture or anything like that. Other than my bedroom stuff, I don't have, there's no couch, there's no big chairs, there's some shelves, but they're not super duper heavy or anything. And then I had another post about the car, which I know it's junk, sadly, and but I also know what it's worth, because I spent my whole life messing with cars. So this one girl, God bless her, good idea in theory, but I'm not that stupid. For 2 hours, of just helping me load boxes. She wanted to know if I would give her the car as payment. Well, the value of the car is $350 for scrap. I know that because I have a standing offer from somebody that the first guy didn't show up. He was going to give me $350. Well, this girl thinks I'm going to give her $350 for 2 hours work. I don't think so. I mean, I was paying more than minimum wage, for the help, but minimum wage here, I don't know what it is where different people are, but minimum wage here is 12 and I'm paying 15 to move boxes, not furniture, boxes. And this girl says, well, can I come and help you and you give me the car? And I'm like, no. Well, I just now got an email from another guy that does scrap, because this car's pretty much scrap. It's got 251,000 miles on it. And it came from Michigan, the pothole capital of the world. So the suspension is all crap. But I just thought that was kind of, she must think I'm a real dum-dum that I'm going to give her a $300 pay for 2 hours of helping move boxes. I haven't answered her yet because I'm trying to figure out how to be tactful. And tact is not my strong suit, as anybody that's been on my channel for a while knows. So that's, I've had several people contact me this morning about the car, but none of them are being particularly reasonable. One of them actually wanted me to pay him to come pick it up. That ain't happening. So after I get done doing what I'm doing here, which is getting these packages ready to go out, then I'm having problems with GoFundMe. They've always been really good about transferring donated funds right over to the account. And I've had 3 donations in January, and there used to be a link where you could go in and tell them to release the money now, which is what I was attempting to do because I need it before the trip. And that link is no longer there. So I went back and looked at when they normally have been releasing the funds, and they usually haven't been releasing them till around the 3rd of each month. Well, I need it before the 3rd. And they have no place on that website, no phone number, no email. They have this bot you're supposed to ask questions, and the bot doesn't understand anything you want to know. So I'm having a real hard time. I need to access that money, have it put in the bank account, and then I'm going to close the GoFundMe, because once I'm moved, there's no longer a need for that. So just all kinds of crazy things. Yeah. Hi, Shelby. I'm not usually on in the morning, but I'm working on getting some last minute things mailed out because I am moving, and I don't want these things getting mixed in with the packed stuff and then people not getting their giveaways. So I want to make sure that anything that's on my desk that needs to go out goes out. And I also need to look at all the loose coins lying around on my desk and find out what they are, so I know if they need to get rolled and sent back to the bank, or do they need to get put away with the stuff for my channel, so that when I go to set things up in Michigan, that things are a little bit easier, because this place is such a mess. Oh my God, it's such a mess. And this desk is not going. I have budgeted in. My brother laughed at me because my brother's funny that way. But he knows I like to go in the thrift stores. And so I have budgeted myself a couple $100 to shop at the thrift stores and Facebook Marketplace, and replace some of the things that I either don't have at all or have but don't plan to take with me. Because I looked on the marketplace, and I hate moving, but this time, this move, I am happy about. As hard as it is for me to do it, it's going to put me where I have access to my friends, where I have access to proper medical care, I have access to decent public transportation, I have access to large bodies of water. I had someone kind of making fun of me, saying, well, you're originally a Florida girl. I figured you would move where they have beaches. And I'm like, excuse me, have you looked at a map of Michigan? Michigan is surrounded on 3 sides by water. Big, giant chunks of water. They are called the Great Lakes. So, it's very stressful, but in the end, it is in my best interest. And I have been trying to accomplish this move for 3 years. I never intended to live where I live. But anyway, my brother was kind of to go back to the furniture thing, my brother was kind of laughing at the idea that I was going to buy furniture for $200. But uh, I looked on Marketplace and I saw a couple of pretty decent little small desks for like 25, $30. My chair, as much as I love my chair, the upholstery is all ripped and the springs are going bad. I paid $25 for it at a thrift store here, and I've been using it for 3 years. The only things I really need are a desk, a couch, and a chair. And I actually have a chair. It's just not my favorite, but it was one that could be taken apart. So I took it apart and put it in my storage just in case I needed it. So I will take it along and use it until I find a proper living room chair. And then this one, I'm just going to put plastic cover on and put it on my balcony. So it won't go to waste, but this other one is big and clunky and it's ripped and torn, so I'm not taking it. Oh, and then there's on my wish list a stand for my TV and stereo. Other than that, I really don't need much. That's I think I can accomplish that for $200. So we will see. We will see. Yeah, that's the thing, Shelby. People do. I looked on, when I was on there, I looked and I saw a couple of free couches or free futons or free love seats because people don't want to move them. And I have enough friends up there. I'll run down. See, here, our U-Haul, they don't have the rent by the day vans or anything like that. They just have two sizes of trucks. That's it. If you can't use one of those, you're screwed. But where I'm going, I can go down the road, rent one of those vans for $20 a day plus mileage, and go pick up, do a I'm going furniture hunting day, and probably pick up most of what I need. I can get one of my band brothers to help me load it and unload it. So yeah, and I see free chairs sometimes too. The bigger the items are, the more likely you are to find free ones because people either just don't want to move them or for whatever reason they can't. And I don't have to get all those things at once. But I see no point in hauling anything that that I could replace for $20. Like if it's a sentimental thing, I have some small furniture pieces that my dad built, or he refinished or whatever. I'm not getting rid of those. But I really don't have like a set of living room furniture. I really don't have a dining room set or any appliances or anything like that. The only set of furniture I have is my bedroom furniture, and it's like made in 1940, early 1940s. I'm going to say late 30s. And that has been my furniture since my parents bought our house in Florida back in the early 50s. It came with the house. And I am taking that because it's really cool. And I have the whole set. But it's not particularly heavy. It's relatively light because they were conserving things like wood and metal and that kind of stuff back in the late 30s, early 40s, especially the early 40s. And I'm not exactly sure when this furniture was made. Yeah, well, that's what Marketplace is, Facebook Marketplace. And yeah, I've looked on there. There's all kinds of free stuff. There's all kinds of, I saw this one desk, it was really nice and the right size. Of course, I'm not there, so I couldn't get it, but they wanted $25 for it. And I said, well, heck, I paid more than that for this piece of junk. This is one of those, you buy it in a box at Big Lots and put it together. It's just pressed wood. It's, I mean, somebody in the building might want it, but I mean, there's a place right here where I set a box of pennies on it and it actually broke the top away from the drawer. And I had to put a screw in to hold it together, and the screw was sticking out. So I put some wall putty over it. So there's like this big lump there. Nah, we're not taking that along. There's just no point. And I did arrange for a small storage. It's a long, skinny one that's like a mile from where I'm moving. And I got the first month for $1. And the way I'm going to load the truck is the things that are going in the apartment go in the truck last. So they're the closest to the door when you open the door of the truck. And I did that so I can unload at the apartment first because M3, the cat, has to get out of the truck. So then the rest I will put over in the storage, and as I get things put away, then I can bring more things to the apartment or get rid of them when I realize I don't need them in the apartment. So that's how that's going to work. But the storage, I had somebody go by and check it out, and it's in a decent, well-lit area with a fence all around it that you have to have a code to get in. So that's going to allow me to have a little space to move around in while I am organizing things. I forgot my number. I'm doing packages. I should have done them yesterday before the postage went up, but I didn't realize it had gotten to that date yet, so I screwed up and I'm having to pay more to get them done. But this way, like I said, I won't end up losing anybody's stuff. I want to make sure everything is mailed. I found something really cool, and I need to research this item once I uh, get settled. It was in a box of things that someone gave me to sell and try to make money, and it's pretty cool. It's from a Masonic lodge in Canada, and I could see where there was something written on the inside of the case, but I couldn't read it too well because the ink has faded. But then on the back of the medallion, it has the person's name. So I'm going to do a little genealogy on this. It's pretty old, and so it may have some serious value. I can't get it all under the camera at once, but it's in this really nice case, and I haven't been able to find out too much about this lodge, but it's the Carleton chapter number 16, Canada, and I've got to figure out, does anybody know anything about Masonic stuff that would know what these letters stand for? And then there's the top where it, oops, where it pins on. And then up here, very, very faintly on the inside of the lid, you can see the name H. Heath. Took me a while. I've got it upside down. Well, when you flip this over, you see his name at the top, Henry Heath, and then it's 27 January, but then after that, I don't know what year, it says 5873. But this is like mother of pearl. It's a beautiful, beautiful metal. I just want to see if I can find out some more about Henry Heath and who he was, and how his medallion came to be in the belongings of someone that is absolutely not related to him, as far as she knows, who lives in Florida, and her dad was kind of a pack rat, so she thinks he may have just picked that up somewhere. And I need to find out more about it because it could be worth something, and I wouldn't even know. So that's been sitting on my desk for me to try and do some research on. I do not have the worldwide subscription to Ancestry, so I can't really get into the Canadian stuff to try and figure him out. But yeah, see, that's just it. We have no idea how it came to be in this person's. One of my friends found it in a box full of stuff when she was cleaning out her dad's house. And she knows nothing of any Royal Arch Mason. Yeah, well, I knew he was a Mason because on the back where it has his name, those are definitely Masonic symbols. And it says chapter number 16, so I knew it had something to do with a Masonic lodge, but I didn't know what the letters meant, and that's why I sat it over here, as I was going to get on and Google it and look it up and see what I could uncover about it. I did find out that the lodge is somewhere, that place Carlton is near Ottawa, I believe, if I remember correctly. But I'm going to have to break out my genealogy skills and look that up. I'd like to try to find somebody in that gentleman's family and maybe return it to them. I wish someone would do that. We have one relative that has all of my great-grandfather's Masonic stuff, and I wish she would be a little more generous, because the only reason that she ended up with it is because he happened to be visiting them, I guess, when he was taken ill. And I truly don't think they were supposed to end up with all that stuff, since he had a daughter and 3 sons. But she's got it, won't share it, won't even send a picture of it. Okay, 2 packages down, 1 person done. Capitular degrees of Freemasonry. Yeah, but what do the letters stand for? Oh my God, I may never know. But that's the kind of stuff that's just lying around on my desk that I don't want it to get thrown into a box and lost. So I'm having to very carefully go through the items on my desk. And since it's really, really cold outside today, I'm trying to knock out the stuff on my desk. Oh, William E., are you still in the room? Oh, what am I looking for? Oh, yeah. Oops. There's no comma in William. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're lying on the floor. What was I? California address still good? Or did you just move? I have a $2 bill here that belongs to you. So if you would just send your address to me so I can make sure I'm sending this to the right place. Yeah, I know you're moving. That's why I said, could you please send me an address of where you want me to send this. so I can get it out. My goal is to get all these things out of the box today, so they will go out. Everybody wants to buy the car. Oh, that's nice. Just get rid of that. What the hell is this? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I got this weird message from somebody. It's clearly spam, trying to get me to send them some money for something I didn't order, and telling me if I don't send the money, they're going to return it to the store. Well, I don't know that number. Hiram, the widow's son, sent to King Solomon. Thank you. I'm going to write that on an envelope and put it with this. So when I start to work on it again, oh good, here's a little plastic pouch that this should fit in, and I can see through it and see what it is. And it has 3 quarters in it right now. Oh, District of Columbia quarters. Okay, they can go in this smaller one. Because I have a book over here that I found in a thrift store, and it's all about Freemasonry, and I found out from one of my cousins that it's a book that's really not supposed to fall into the hands of someone who is not a Mason. And it's got all kinds of interesting info in it that are really sort of supposed to be secrets. So now I've got something I can look in there and see if I can. I just thought that award medal was so cool that I really, but I do think it belongs with the person's family. It's kind of like finding a somebody's ring or something when you're detecting and you want to get it back to them because it may have some some real meaning. But just a little bit that I looked, I didn't really have access to the records I wanted. Put that in the envelope. That $2 bill goes to Kevin. I already said Kevin's. Yeah, but Kevin won a whole bunch of stuff. All right. I'll send it to Kevin then. Just as long as I send it to somebody besides the bottom of this box. The goal is empty the box. kind of like the guy who uses the name Filberboard. Empty the box. I just got to find an envelope. Where's my envelope box? It's so hard to find anything in here. Y'all have no idea. It is crazy in here. Because I have packed boxes everywhere. And different stacks are different things. So, all right. Ooh, that's a nice crispy one too. Okay. So this goes to Kevin. Yeah, he did it. He went on a streak. Thing is, I already mailed his package out, but I can just stick a $2 bill in an envelope. And that's one of the reasons I've started giving them away, is they are they're very cool things to have, and they're pretty economical to send out without getting them damaged. I bought these little cardboard envelopes that Digging with Deeds uses them, and they are dandy for sending out currency. All right, so let me go over here. Let me find something else to stick under the scope while I do this. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff about a lot of different things all of a sudden. One of the things I have learned about recently doing eBay stores is there we go. Let's stick the District of Columbia under there for a minute. Well, I do mine kind of weird, William. I will not put anything out here in our lobby because I had things stolen. I do my own postage through Pirate Ship. I hate eBay's labeling system. I always end up with having to print it 3 or 4 times. It's a pain in the butt. I use one system and it keeps track of everything I send, including the tracking numbers. And I always take the things to the post office, even though I've already got the postage on them. And I go up to the window and have them double check my postage, make sure everything is right. And when they do that, they give me a receipt that has all the tracking numbers on it. And that way it goes from me directly into the post office and into their truck, so I can hold them responsible. When I really panic is when I sell a very expensive collectible vinyl record. and the buyer selects media mail, which is like the cheapest thing, and there's no insurance. I just end up paying the insurance out of my pocket because I'm not sending a $300 record for $4 in the lowest possible postage you can send. So I'll just go ahead and put the insurance on it myself. Because there's not going to be another copy if something happens to it. At least not in my collection, and so I can't replace it. So I just do it that way. But yeah, it makes me nervous too. Now, when I can't get out to go mail something, I can go up to the lobby and I will put a note on the door of the big giant mailbox bank and ask the mail lady to come to my apartment and pick up outgoing packages, and she will do that for me, because there was a big deal when the packages started getting stolen in this part of town, and it was all on her route, and somebody tried to blame her, but it wasn't her. We eventually figured out what was going on, and okay, that's been delivered. That can go in the garbage. This, I never got an address from that person, and so can't do that one. Next one is David Canham. We're just working my way through the box. I did half of them the other day. And then I ran out of postage. I ran out of envelopes, really. I didn't have any envelope big enough to... My small ones were too small and my big ones were too big. So I finally found what I think is the perfect size. And so far they're working well. Oh, Mr. Canham's got a whole bunch of stuff in here. He won more than once. Got one of them fancy nickel bags with a buffalo nickel in it. That's where I put his buffalo nickel, was in his nickel bag from the U.S. Mint. And he's got some stickers, keychain, and another one of those fancy envelopes. Oh, these are perfect. I'm so glad I bought these. Make my life a lot easier. And they weren't expensive. Alrighty. Yeah, well, we don't really have a porch. What we have is a lobby that has one of those great big banks of mailboxes, one for each apartment and one for the office. Well, we've got some people that live here that really belong in assisted living or rehab or memory care. And we've got one, he likes to go around and pick up everybody's packages and mess with them and take them to the person's apartments. And he's been repeatedly told not to mess with the packages. There's, the management has even put notes out there, if there's packages here, you don't touch them. Unless your name is on them, you don't touch them. Well, he still does. And I had one disappear one day that it was something somebody bought from me on eBay, and I couldn't get to the post office because my car was broken down. So I just put it up on the top where we're supposed to put the outgoing packages. And it disappeared. So I had to refund the eBay customer's money. And fortunately, he didn't file a negative feedback. And I also lost the postage because I had already paid the postage. So I ended up losing about $75. I wasn't very happy. I can't afford to lose that kind of money. And oh dear. Now I got a problem. Oh, maybe it's on my list. I'll have to save that one. I have 2 addresses for David. Oops. Good thing, too, because I just found something else that goes in David's. All right, well, Pooey, Dewey, and Louie. But yeah, I'm and my girlfriend has so many shoes and clothes and every makeup imaginable. I went for a long time where I couldn't walk. I mean, several years until they diagnosed one of my ailments and got me on the proper medication. And all of a sudden I could walk again. Well, if you're old enough, you will know who Imelda Marcos was. One of the things that she became famous for, other than being married to a world leader, was she had an obsession with shoes. And yeah, she was a shoe hoarder. Well, when I could finally walk again, I had this thing about this one brand of shoes that I could never afford when I was in high school, and all the rich girls I went to school with had them. And I became somewhat of a shoe hoarder. I went from not being able to walk or wear shoes to having about 60 pairs of Agner Italian leather shoes and boots. And Agner are not cheap. I mean, they really aren't. But I would scour, like, I would go to rummage sales at really rich people's churches. And like I found a $250 pair of Agner boots that I paid $5 for. And the lady that was there said, "Oh, I bought those for my granddaughter because she just absolutely threw a fit. She had to have them. She wore them once, decided they weren't quite the right color, put them back in the box, and never wore them again." Well, I had quite an accumulation of shoes for a while. And when my mom died, I was her caretaker, and even though I was sick, I was um, living in her house, which had to be sold as part of settling the estate. And I moved into a motorhome. So obviously, I could not take all these shoes with me. And I actually sold most of those shoes to pay for tires and stuff for the motorhome. But I get the shoe thing. Right now, I think I have maybe 10 pairs, 5 of which are moccasins, and a couple of them are special shoes for when I'm doing band gig things. Like I have a pair of bright orange fringe moccasins, because all of our merchandise stuff is black and orange. And so I have a couple things that are uh, that kind of thing. I call it stage wear. And so I did have to finally cut that down. And once I developed this disease in my eye, I pretty much stopped wearing makeup. So I've got makeup that's never been opened. And oh, Mike, I understand this one real well. Because if you look in my eBay store, you will see vintage sewing patterns. Yeah, I have argued. Another thing I sell, and all the packages are cardboard with "do not bend," is I sell vintage rock and roll photos, many of which are absolutely irreplaceable. And we have a dummy at our post office who does the same thing. So now, if I have anything like that, I don't send it through our post office anymore. I will pay the extra and take it up to the UPS store, and they have never messed one up. But like, I bought a photo one time, and the reason I bought it was because I knew it was counterfeit. And yes, you can counterfeit a photograph. People say, "Well, how do you counterfeit a photograph?" If you didn't take it, or you don't have permission from the person that did, and they have copyrighted that photo, you can't make copies of it. If you have one that you bought and you decide you want to sell it, that's one thing. But you cannot take that one photo and make 25 copies of it and sell them on eBay. It's just not allowed. Well, the only way to prove this gentleman was doing that was for us to actually buy one. So I bought one, and this idiot at the post office, even though it was in a photo mailer, said photograph do not bend, blah, 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 not machinable. I mean, the guy that sent it packaged it well. The post office guy ignored all of that and rolled it up. Well, he says he rolled it, but it was actually folded in half, which ruined the photo. But it did prove that the guy that I bought it from was selling counterfeits, because we had a lawyer also ordered one, and he got the same one. And since I have my college was broadcast journalism with a minor in fine arts photography, so I can look at a photo and tell 90% of the time I can tell if it's a fake, if it's a copy of an original, because every time you make a copy, you lose a little bit of the quality. You start pixelating and so forth. But I needed that photo to prove this guy was basically stealing from us, because we were selling the real copies of that photo, which are pretty rare. And it's our band. So, anyway, yeah, I have definitely. Okay, this is Leanne's. I had an envelope here. I had already sealed it, and then I didn't write who it belonged to. But yeah, I've had them cut patterns open and ruin them. So I totally, that's why I said I started taking anything like that. And that guy no longer works at the post office here. I guess they got enough complaints about him that. But I never understood why they needed to inspect a package with patterns in it. Did they ever tell your wife why they were doing that? I would have been, yeah. Well, I was pretty PO'd. I went down and met with the postmaster 2-3 times. And yeah, there's just some things I won't even deal with them. Okay. But yeah, that's annoying. That is just outright, I don't give a darn about the people using our service. I want to be a big shot. I guess it's because patterns are soft and mushy, and they stupidly think that somebody would mail a bag full of drugs or something like that. I don't know why they react that way. Over something like a sewing pattern. I had a new lady at the post office the other day. I had all my regular packages, and then I had one that was media mail, because it was nothing but a DVD that could easily be replaced for $5. And so I sent it media mail, And she's like, well, what's in here? Can I open it? I said, you can if you want to spend the next hour sitting in there talking to the postmaster. I said, because we've already gone round and round about this. And she said, well, you're only allowed to send CDs. And I said, no, honey, CDs, DVDs count as the same thing. And she's like squeezing it and smacking it on the counter. And I'm like, no, 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 honey. You're new here. You need to learn the rules. Rule number 1 is you don't take somebody's merchandise and pound it on the counter. You don't do that. That's not how it works. I said, now I'm going to ask you to go get David, and that's the postmaster. And he comes out and he goes, hey, Susie Q, what's going on? And I said, well, we have a young lady here. I guess she's a new employee that thinks that CD counts as media mail, but a DVD does not. And he's looking at her like she's got 3 heads. And he's telling her, yeah, it's the same thing. And I said, and I would appreciate it if she didn't take my merchandise and pound it on the counter, because she thinks it's something different than what I told her it is. And he said, I'm so sorry, Miss Susan, blah, blah, blah. And this poor girl is just standing there turning beet red. But her attitude was not the best. And yeah, I don't know why people do some of the things they do. It's all, I guess it's a matter of pride or something. They want to be the boss. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, now I got to go back over here. No. If anybody sees David Canham, I need him to come find me. California. Okay. Because I've got 2 addresses for him, and I don't know which is right. That's the one thing I haven't figured out yet on this program, is how to remove one address. At one point, I had like 4 different addresses for Archaeology Mikey. I miss you, buddy. But it was because his mom moved for a job, and then he would go stay with his dad for a while, and then he went to college. So his mom got a different job so she could be closer to his college. So I had 4 addresses for him at one point. It got a little confusing until I learned what they were and labeled them, because 3 of the 4 were actually valid. And I've got several people in here. I've got 2 or 3. Oh, come on. I do not know. This one I gotta find. It gets confusing sometimes, because some of them I have to measure because they're odd sized. packages because I use recycle stuff. And it takes me forever to get everybody's. Like yesterday, I had a tape measure right here where I was measuring boxes to see if things would go in them. You think I could find it now? No. And I need to measure this package. So all I can do on that one is put a note on it as to which it's just crazy. I'm gonna stop doing packages here in a second. And do some coins. Oops. Let's see what all these coins are. Okay. There's a Chinese postage stamp. What does this say? It says empty ripped envelope. Say, what's this? Oh, this is one of those cool pennies that Mike Lyman does. It's the only good use I have ever seen for a zinc penny. Mike has some metal stamps. I have the alphabet one, but he's got ones that do cool stuff like put a treble clef on there. And that's really awesome. And I had two of them, and I had lost one. And the other day, when I pulled something out, I found an envelope from him. And this one I think is really cool. This one has a unicorn on it. And, oops. And then this is the mate to the other one. So these two, I'm gonna punch a hole in, and I'm making earrings out of them. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the unicorn. It may become a gift away, but I won those on his channel. Oh, 18th of July 2022. But it is not actually raised. It looks that way, but it's not. It's actually inverted. But the way it reflects, it does look that way. I think it has to do with how the die is cut, makes it come out that way. But I think those are really cool, and I was so glad I found the second treble clef one, because y'all know I'm a music head. So anyway, I'm putting those back in I put them in a plastic thing, and then I put them back in the mic envelope, so I know exactly what that is, because that's the only thing I have sitting up there that is a thing from Mike Lyman. So I have that stashed away now. Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know what other stamps he has. I'm going to ask him, because I can see, y'all know how much I absolutely hate zinc pennies and shield pennies. But that is, I can make jewelry out of them. I just want to see what other things he has. But I particularly like the treble clef one. All right, let's see. I have this big tube of 1960s pennies. I don't know where the lid to it is, though. Okay, this is another problem package. 2 addresses. Put that over there. I'm trying to, I got so much stuff on here, and I can't really pack it up until I figure out what all of it is. And a lot of empty containers, a lot of containers that I don't know what is this? Is this money I can put back in the bank? Is this money that needs to, like, these are all the women's series quarters in that. And that's more women's series. I'm going to kind of put all the like things together and put them in Ziploc bags before I pack them. So when I get to the other end and I go to put things in the new studio area, coin collecting, detecting stuff, I can at least get them all together, and it'll just make my life a lot easier, and I can cash in all the coins that are just don't need to be here. Let's see, whose is that? Okay, that's Sir Benji's. It can stay right there. This. What's this? I think this is Patty's. Patty Bisharoo. Gotta move the granny to a wheelchair. I gotta find a piece of cardboard to go in that one. What is this? This is a green piece of cardboard. This is from Mike Hathaway. I need to keep that because that's got his new address on it. Metal detecting North Carolina that doesn't live in North Carolina anymore. Don't want to lose that though. Like a lot of these are empty envelopes, but they have addresses on them that I'm trying to keep. So I'm keeping the addresses and the interior bubble wrap and throwing the rest away. I know it's a little weird, but I don't have time to do all the data entry right now of putting these addresses in, so I'm just putting them all in one envelope. Did who email me, Kevin? David? I haven't looked. I will in a minute though. I'm multitasking. I'm telling you. This seems like the hardest move I have ever done. And it's because this area is just so screwed up where you can't get anything. You can't get trucks. You can't get boxes. It's horrible. I'm usually pretty organized in my moves, but this one has really been a headache. Okay, put that in there, that over there, get my phone, and look in my email. And Pirate Ship emailed me and said, we just took $20 more out of your account. Give us some more postage money, please. You're running out. Okay. I don't see any. Oh, I've already got his address. Metal detecting North Carolina. Yeah, I got his. He lives in Florida now. That's why I laugh about it. Now, the one I really need to find is my canned ham, David Canham. I need to find him because I have two different addresses for him. But yeah, I got North Carolina covered now. Thank you. And you're going to hear me crunching because I got to eat a little something so I don't get sick. Okay. Stack of Ziplocs. Oh, I need to get a cardboard box. Ooh, that'd be a good one right there. Take these. Put these in here. This. I can start putting things from my desk. It's so crazy trying to pack this stuff. Yeah, I see David around quite a bit. I just didn't realize until I sat down to do the rest of these packages that I had 2 different addresses for him. So, oh, here's one of our favorite things. Cats and dogs. I found the cats and dogs. See, these are my personal mint bags. So I'm going to put them separate. These are some that were recently discovered. That probably will be auctioned, put in the eBay store, or used as giveaways. Haven't decided, but I got a couple more nickel ones. They're not perfect, but that's because they were actually used to transport money by the U.S. Mint. And so I would imagine the way they threw those around in the trucks and stuff, they probably didn't get the best of care. I'm going to get a bigger bag for that. That's gift away thingies. Oops. There's a sticker from Florida Metal Detecting. And here's the cats and the dogs. We got to put them in there. Oops. Zippy bags. There's a zippy bag. I can put these envelopes with important things in it. One of them I was looking for. It's a pin that goes in my computer, my old computer. That way that won't get lost. Now, what are these? Oh, these are mine. Yeah, it's a little crazy, some of the things that are on my desk. This one has nothing at all to do with anything on my channel. This is just a memento of my friend Tommy, who years before I ever played poker with him, I used to tell people don't play poker with Tom because he is, if you looked up poker face, absolutely emotionless poker face in the dictionary, you see my friend picture of him. And later on he became a semi-professional poker player, and the last year he was alive, somebody had kind of made off with his really good poker set that he won in one of the tournaments. And I asked him what he wanted, and he told me these certain kind of poker cards. And I told him, I said, I used to play poker with my dad. I said, oh, pretty good. I had never played poker with him, and I'd known him for 40-something years. So, Christmas, I got him a new poker set, and I got him the cards that he wanted. And we sat down to play poker. And I think it was like the third hand, I beat him. And he was just smacked, you know. And I asked him, I said, did you let me win that hand? And he said, you've known me almost 45, 50 years. You know I did not let you win that hand. He said, I'm glad that didn't happen in public. But when he passed away, we didn't know he was going to be treated the way he was. And we thought he was going to rehab, but he had a family member that was in charge of his care and didn't want to be, so she just ignored the doctor's calls and so forth. But I had gone to his residence with his best friend and his brother-in-law, who were both officers with the local sheriff's department. So I had a key anyway. So I wasn't breaking in or stealing anything, but they were with me. And I told them, I said, I'm going to get the things that he would need, that he would want to have after he goes into rehab. And I also want you to remove his firearm because I do not want the responsibility of it. So I got his helmet and fire suit. He was a race car driver and car builder. And I got his poker stuff and his TV and, the things, photos of his race cars, the things that he would have needed and wanted and couldn't be replaced. And he ended up passing away, and I asked his family what they wanted me to do with it, and they said they didn't give a. So I have all of it, and they didn't even go pick up his ashes. I had to go to the funeral home and get his ashes. And I have systematically scattered them at a number of locations. And part of his list were a couple of spots in Michigan. So once I get back up there, I'm going to finish scattering his ashes, and they will make their way to like Michigan Motor Speedway and a couple of race car shops and different places, and then the rest I think are going to go to Lake Huron. But that is under the camera is I have like 14 or 15 of these from the Firehouse Grill and Pub in Tampa, Florida. They used to have poker tournaments every week, and they finally told him, look, let somebody else win. He was getting a little too good, And then I have a couple of bigger trophies too, but I keep one of these on my desk, just kind of a thing, because he and I were the ones that were working the idea of metal detecting. And we had discussed what detectors we were going to get because his doctor had told him he needed to get out and walk more. And mine, ouch, had done the same. So we had made all these big plans to do that. And he died before we got to. He had a stroke. Standing in line to get a Coke at the Circle K. I've had a couple of people say he was standing in line to get beer, but that's not true because they had to go back and get the security footage to make sure that nothing that there was nothing suspicious about what happened with him. And he had a Coke in his hand, not beer. So the person that said that. And speaking of metal detecting North Carolina, this is from what year? Yeah, this is 2022. And he gets like 100 of these made a year. Sea bags! Hi, sea bag. I'm almost there. Next week, buddy. I know most of you have probably heard this before, but I used to live right by Fleabag. And when I would go to, I had to go to my indoor flea market booth, which was up in Bay City, Michigan. And I hate driving on the interstate, so I would always go the back roads. I go right down his road, right by his house, like 2-3 times a week. So, never met him, but I already said I'm going to take Fleabag and Sir Benji out for lunch. I gotta get back on Michigan food. They don't have any of the good stuff down here. They don't have any decent fish and chips. They don't know what a coney is. So anyway, this is something else that lives on my desk. We're clearing my desk today, Flea. Finding out what all these coins are and packing the things on my desk up so that they can go back where they belong. Now this is the 2023 version. It's bigger. These are really cool. I'm gonna have to come up with something cool. I'm so white bread. My channel is boring. I was told my channel is boring. So and then here's the other side of this one. This is the 2023. It's really nice. So I said, I know down behind my desk is an older thing. Does anybody remember when Big Flip was giving out the fidget spinners? I have one of those. It's on the floor under my desk. Just little things that when they arrived, I was in a bad frame of mind, and they have, when I see them, they make me smile. This really makes me smile. I got this out of a Coinstar machine in Quitman, Georgia, and I think it's pretty funny. I mean, it really looks real if it didn't have copy stamped on it. So I understand how the person threw it in their Coinstar money and it went through. And here's the reverse. So Reggie's gonna detect under my desk. I'll even loan him a pinpointer. He is welcome to do so. That's really funny. Oh, that was a good one, William. But the funny part about this one This is plastic. It looks pretty real. 1990D. But yeah, that's another one that just made me laugh because I thought, oh goody, I got a Wheatie, or I thought I had something really good, and it is something good, but it's not what I thought was. Oh, but I used to find good stuff in that particular coin store. Quitman, Georgia is a really small town. Doesn't have much in it, but it's better than this place. And at least they had a coin store. And towards the end of the month, I would always find things in the coin store because most of the population there was pretty poor. And so by the end of the month, they would be cashing in change to get whatever they needed, cigarettes, beer, food, whatever. And so towards the end of the month, I would look in there pretty often just so that I could find things like that. Okay, I gotta find a piece of cardboard because I don't want this package to bend, even if I have to pay a little more for the postage. I just don't want to put this in here. Yeah, I found all kinds of stuff in that one in Quitman, Georgia. Um, Particularly Canadian silver. I don't know why, but I would find like Canadian dimes and stuff. First silver coin I found, as a matter of fact, was uh, out in the middle of a cotton field. I have no idea how it got there. In Brooks County, Georgia, in 1954. I still have it. I put it in my box with my rings because it was my first, and I found it with my old bounty hunter. Yeah, after Tommy died, I kind of gave up the idea of metal detecting. And then I was given this used bounty hunter gold digger for my birthday. And so I finally got up off the couch. I was devastated when my friend died. I mean, you just can't imagine how, when you know somebody and you're really close with them for decades. Yeah, I gave away some of my Mexican coins, but I love Mexican silver. Their actual currency coins have the most beautiful artwork on them. And of course, I am also influenced by the fact that the band I work with are all of Mexican descent. Um, I collect some US silver when, but I don't, like, if I have four of the same thing, I'll give three of them away. I don't I'm not stacking. If I have four of, like I had four 1953 half dollars Benjis because that's the year I was born. Well, I don't need four of them. You know, I try to get like one of each mint mark, and then I don't need more. I will, if I come on to another one, I will compare it to what I already have and keep the best one and then move the other ones down the line, because I'm not collecting just to stack silver. Yeah, I'm very selective about what I keep. Um, and I have some that, even though they're not the best, I will not get rid of them, because my friend Tommy had a small collection in a little cash box. He didn't have any albums or anything. He just had them in a cash box. And I don't want to get rid of his. So I've got all of his in little 2x2s, or if I put them in an album, there's a little dot that I put by them. And down in the corner of the book, I have notated that the ones with the dots were from his collection. So I keep those. But I do really like the Mexican coins. I think they're gorgeous. And I also have a few German coins, because my mom's whole side of her family is German and Dutch. I have a couple of British coins. My dad's family was from England. I don't really know much about them, even though I have researched quite a while. And I got to a point and got stuck on them. But my mom's family I can take back to the 1500s. And then I have a few coins that are military related, like U.S. occupied Philippines coins. And not too long ago, I got something I never had before, and I've shown this on a stream, but now there's a silver certificate behind it, but this is what they call script, military payment certificate. That's worth a nickel. Now, I asked a relative why they would issue paper script, instead of just giving them a nickel. And he said, because coins rattle in your pocket. Paper doesn't rattle. Paper doesn't make noise. So this is pretty cool. We looked it up. I forgot what year. I didn't write it down. Here's the back. I got this. I actually won the silver certificate, and that piece came as a bonus from everybody's favorite guy, Muscle Shell. So yeah, I got this from Muscle Shell. I think it's pretty cool. So I may start collecting those. But I do have like some, I think, one or two coins from European countries when they were occupied by Germany. I do have one with the ugly signal, the ugly symbol on it, and you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, this is the kind of stuff that's just lying around on my desk. That today's goal is to clear this off. And like, here's a penny. I have no idea what this penny is or why it's sitting there. It's just there. It's a 1983. I have found a few stray Wheaties. Yeah, there's 2 Wheaties in this little can right here that I have picked up so far. Just stuff, you know, it's everywhere. There's 2 chargers for 2 different smartwatches that my insurance company, they won't buy an Apple Watch. They'll buy you off. And I have 2 Wise watches, WYSE. And the problem with them is once the charger runs down and you try to charge it back up, it won't stay charged. They just, you know, when you first get them, they work really good. And they do everything they're supposed to do. And the main reason I had gotten them, my insurance company thought it was a good idea, since I tend to wander aimlessly out into fields looking for treasure, that I had something that would give me my heart stuff and yeah, see, I plugged it in, and because I wanted to charge it up, but I plugged it into a USB 2 port, and it wants a USB 3 port, and right now I do not have an available USB 3 port, so that's gonna have to wait. And then I found that belongs in with, I mean, it's just insane. I don't know what's in here. This used to have coins in it, but I guess I emptied it. Little snazzy little purse. I mean, it's just crazy, the stuff that's in here. It's going to, I may just dump it all into a box and do it when I get there. No sound. Is it back? Y'all let me know. Bye, Flea. Thanks for coming. Yeah, it killed the sound when I plugged that watch in. So, let's see. Let's try and package up one more package and then go do something else for a while. Oh, I don't need to package this one. This one's for Sir Benji. It says hold for personal delivery. Oh, I think this is probably Doug Harding. Yep. Alright, let's see. Yeah, if I can get most of them out, I'll be happy. Ooh, there's only one more behind that one. Of course, I've got the 2 up here. What is this? Oh, I can do that one. So almost everybody's will get sent out of here. Then I got to get up and do something else for a while because I've been sitting at this computer for 3 hours. Maybe I'll get some watch hours, a few. Let me look at something real quick here. Where's the tracking data? That's interesting. Kevin, you still here? Yep, Kevin's still here. I just checked the tracking on your package, and it says it was supposed to arrive yesterday, which is Sunday. So I am guessing maybe it will arrive today. Hey, Deej. It's the Deeger. So yeah, according to what it says here, yours should be, it should have been there yesterday, but yesterday was Sunday. So hopefully it will arrive today. So keep your eyes open on that. Yeah, because I went over to the USPS one now, and it says expected delivery on Monday, January 22nd. So it says it left Oshkosh at 1:42 this morning. So there you go. Just thought I'd do that. I've given up on getting freaked out when mail disappears. It's kind of like when I call the pharmacy. The only thing that freaks me out, if they tell me they don't have my prescriptions, there's 2 that I really gotta have, and that will freak me out. But the rest of them, if they say they can't do it until the next day, I can go a day without them. But I have some that I can't go. If I go without them, I become very sick. And so I usually alert my primary care like at least a week ahead that something is coming up for renewal and have her call them. Because, yeah, I will get a little freaky if a couple of mine are really, I don't function without those medications at all. I mean, like, not get out of bed or get out of bed and come sit in a chair all day and just stare at the wall. So that's That freaks me out. But like I was saying, I have a routine now that I go through when I mail things out just to make sure that stuff doesn't vanish. Because the first time I had an expensive package for eBay disappear, it freaked me out really bad. Because it ended up costing me $75. Anything that cost me that much money for no good cause, not a good thing. Oh, it's in there. Oh, that's books. Okay. Oh, I wish that wouldn't happen, Kevin. I really wish that wouldn't happen. I know, like, silver go down. Me want silver go up. Real high. Oh, I just need to finish this. Like I said, I think I'm just gonna dump everything from the desk drawer into a box. And then as I put it away on the other end, I can sort it out because it's just taking too long. Now the stuff on the top of the desk, I'm going to put it all in one box. Oh, that's not going to fit in there, doggone it. See, I don't even look anymore because, like I said, I don't do coins for stacking or the value. I'm just really funny, and I just do the ones I like. I guess maybe if I had kids or grandkids or something, I would have a different approach. But since I don't, and I've still got to get up and find a tape measure. Wow. So, see, Doug Star. I gotta find his address. So I think I'm kind of done for right now. I've got this one. I can do, and then I will be done for right now. Anyway, I got to get up and walk around. This has gone on way too long. wrong? I'm starting to make mistakes too, so. Envelope. 9, 6. I just really want to get this area cleared so I can stack boxes in it. I have a friend that's coming Wednesday to help me get a bunch of boxes out from under the bed. And then I have a rollaway bed. So those will be the last two things that go in the truck, are the rollaway bed and my regular sleeping bed, so that they are the first things that go into the apartment. Well, other than M3, of course. He will be the first thing. Yeah, there's some people that, in my opinion, oh no, I have a whole toolbox, and it really doesn't take any tools to take my bed apart. And the rollaway just folds up. It's already folded up. It just folds back down. The only thing I really, I have some shelves, and I took one of them apart yesterday, cleaned it all up. That's why you're hearing me wheezing a little. I got a face full of dust and cat fur when I did that. But I cleaned each shelf, and I've got a bunch of that plastic wrap like they wrap around pallets, and I put all the screws and everything in a Ziploc bag, and they are wrapped inside the package with the shelves. I have another set just like them in the bathroom that I will be taking apart here today, and going through the same operation, because those shelves are awesome. They're big enough to hold some pretty good stuff, and they are small enough that when you take them apart, they take almost no room in the truck. They could probably use a coat of paint, but they're functional, and they're solid wood. They're not press board. I'm getting away from the press board stuff because it just doesn't last. So, but yeah, I'm good with tools. My dad was a handyman. That was his job. That and repairing outboard motors. So, and up until they got all fancy schmancy with cars, I was real good at fixing cars. I was a crew chief for a 4-car racing team down in Florida for about 3 years. One of the cars was mine. Probably the most famous thing I ever did in my whole racing career had nothing to do with driving. Uh, I We were in this figure eight series called the North South Challenge that ran down in Florida in the wintertime. So all the people from up north who raced figure eights would come down there because it was warm enough we could still race. So everybody from Florida was outclassed. They had these figure eight cars that would come from Anderson, Indiana, and Louisville, Kentucky, and around that area. And there had been an article about them in Stock Car Racing magazine that they referred to these cars as 1,900-pound steel ballerinas. I mean, these were some really fancy cars. Well, that particular year, Motor Racing Network, MRN, they broadcast all the NASCAR races and all the big whoop-de-doo stuff, and they still do. Anyway, they had reporters on this tour. Well, we didn't know anything about reporters or anything. We were just trying to get a car to go fast enough not to get 6 laps down and hit in the intersection. And we got hit, but not bad enough to take us out, but we had to change a radiator while they were pulling some other cars off the track that got a lot worse than we did. And so we got everything done, and we got our driver back out on the track before the green came back out, and I'm standing there, huffing and puffing and taking off my Kevlar gloves. Kevlar is like heat resistant fabric. So I'm just standing there and trying to catch my breath and get reorganized before the green flag drops. And this guy comes walking up to me, and he's got a microphone. Well, I thought he was a pit reporter for the track, because the track was broadcasting interviews and different things over the PA system. And I wasn't paying any mind because we had cars to deal with. And this guy comes up to me and he says, young lady, may I ask you a question? And I just kind of looked at him, and I'm taking off my gloves. And he goes, how did a girl like you get into working on these cars? And I was still a little PO'd about the crash, and so I'm not really focused on this dude. And he says, how did a girl like you get into working on these cars? And I just looked at him and I said, with my hands, just like the guys do. Well, little smarty pants Susie didn't realize this thing is being broadcast nationwide. So thousands and thousands of people heard me say that to this guy, who later turned out was one of the reporters for ESPN and Motor Racing Network. And I got home from this thing, and this was in the days where you didn't have cell phones, but you did have an answering machine in your house. My answering machine light was blinking, the tape was full. I had so many phone calls either telling me how rude I was or how funny I was. And I'm like, what are these people talking about? And then one of our drivers got home and his machine was full of, your crew chief's nuts. And then explained to me who I had just gotten mouthy with. But it's still my answer to a lot of things that I do that are considered to be guy things. And but yeah, how do you get into working on these cars? With my hands, just like the guys do. Oh, and they picked on our poor drivers. They called them cream puff racers and Twinkie racers. You wouldn't even want to know some of the things they called me. Because this was back in the 70s and 80s. Well, that actually happened in the late 80s, I think. But they didn't want us girls in their pit area. And they really still don't, if you want to know the truth. It's still a good old boy sport. I got out of it in the 90s because I had been in it since the 70s and it just never was going to change. So, but yeah, I got tools. I tried, but it was being broadcast live. So, on the radio, it wasn't on TV. It was just being live on the radio. The guy just happened to work for both ESPN and Motor Racing Network. Well, Motor Racing Network was the only one broadcasting it. And I never did find a recording. I checked with a lot of the guys. Our primary driver is now a car owner. And he has asked, he still races with some of those same guys. And he has asked a bunch of them because he would absolutely love to have a copy of that because he was in the car out on the track when it happened. He had no clue until he got home. Oh, but that to me was one of my best all-time lines. One of my best comebacks ever because it's true. Women sometimes get put in this slot where you're not supposed to know how to do that because it was a guy thing. It doesn't happen as much now as it used to, but back in that time period, at my home track, we had maybe 2 female drivers, and I was the only crew chief. There were very few women on the crews that actually worked on the cars. But when I was a teenager, my dad insisted, like I said, he was a handyman and a mechanic of sorts. And he absolutely insisted before I got a driver's license, there were certain things I had to learn how to do. And so I did not have a fear of working on cars because my dad encouraged and insisted on certain basic elements. One, you had to know how to change your oil. 2, you had to learn to drive a stick shift. 3, you had to know how to check the battery, the fluids in your battery, your radiator. You had to know how to change a tire. You had to know how to change a headlight and a tail light. My dad insisted until you can do those things, minimum of those things, you're not even getting a learner's permit. And then I learned, because my dad used to do a lot of our own car maintenance, I learned how to do a brake job. I one time I was in my driveway when I was in college, and I was doing the rear brakes on my 69 Rambler, and I didn't want to stop and fix anything to eat, so I had called Domino's to bring me a pizza. And I think it was like 1975, maybe 74, 75. Anyway, I'm out there doing my brakes, and this guy comes up from Domino's, and he's standing there, because I told him, give me a second and I'll get your money. And when I got out from under, I rolled the creeper out and got out to get his money. And he says, "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" And I just looked at this guy and I said, "If I didn't, would I be working on my own brakes?" Think about that one for a while. If I didn't know what I was doing, I sure wouldn't be fixing my own brakes. I'd go to somebody that knew what they were doing. So, but yeah, I got tools. I've got two different toolboxes actually. I've got one that is mostly car tools and one that is mostly house tools. And I used to have a lot more tools back when I was, seriously in racing. I had a Snap-on stand-up box with a lot of tools. Not as many as my friend Tommy. I really didn't need that many tools. I could go to Tommy's shop and do that stuff. But yeah, I got tools. I've already been in them. I was messing with them yesterday. Well, I am done. That's all I can do for right now. I have got to go sit down, or not sit down, go take a walk. So thank y'all who've been hanging in here with me. And I may do a show later tonight, and I may not. Just check at 6:30, and if I'm on, I'm on. But I really got to clear this whole area out in the next day because I want it cleared by Wednesday for sure. And I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow afternoon, so that be that. All right, everybody. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye.